Los Angeles. Saturday night in an atmosphere that was originally full of concert euphoria. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed dramatically. Beyond anyone's prediction, BTS's Jin and Eun-woo surprisingly appeared together in a live broadcast session, sharing a statement that left millions of fans around the world speechless. The first sentence that came out of the Jin was, "Maybe this is the last time you see us like this." The statement was not merely emotional. It contained the existential burden of two public figures who stood at the peak of their popularity, but in a matter of days, had to leave the global stage to carry out their duty as South Korean citizens, conscription. The broadcast, conducted through the Weverse community platform, immediately became the center of worldwide attention. Jin, with his military haircut, sits quietly but full of sadness, while beside him Eun-woo looks down, occasionally taking a deep breath. What makes this broadcast so thrilling is not only because these two superstars admit that they will disappear in the near future, but because both also open up a layer of personal life that has been closed. They no longer speak as idols, but rather as human beings who are about to enter a very different phase of their lives. Jin stated that the night after the concert was the quietest night of contemplation he had experienced in his career. Eun-woo, with a trembling voice, revealed that while she has always been strong in front of the camera, the truth is that for the past few weeks, she has been under tremendous pressure. "I'm afraid it's irrelevant after the draft. I'm afraid people will forget who I am," he said honestly. Silence enveloped the broadcast room as the lines were spoken, a rare admission from a public figure who used to hide his fears behind the smiles of the cameras. The two also explained why they chose to do this broadcast together. According to Jin, he wanted to give the impression that public figures also have the same fear, doubt, and sadness as humans in general. "We are not robots. We have concerns, and tonight we want you to know that we really appreciate every second you give us," Jin said with a straight look at the camera. The broadcast was not only a place for recognition, but also a very emotional temporary farewell. Jin revealed that before the broadcast began, the two of them had sat in silence for almost an hour. There were no words, only a look and the realization that the world they had been living in would stop for a while. Eun-woo reinforces Jin by saying, "Even though we are silent now, our hearts speak louder than anything else." What shakes things up the most is when Jin and Eun-woo read each other's personal letters to their fans. Jin wrote the letter on the back of his last concert ticket. He said, "If one day you feel empty because we don't exist, look up at the sky and remember, we used to sing under the same stars." The phrase immediately sparked an emotional reaction from millions of fans who watched. It was noted that more than 8 million active users watched the broadcast live. Eun-woo is no less touching. He ended his message with the phrase, "When I come back, maybe the world has changed, but my hope is one. You are still there." It shows the deep vulnerability of an artist who has always performed flawlessly. Interestingly, this emotional meeting took place just a few hours after the big concert held in Los Angeles, where Jin performed as the main star. Eun-woo appears in person backstage, with no official announcement from her agency. Many considered Eun-woo's presence at the concert not just as a friend, but as a form of personal solidarity before both entered the military service. The moment they both walked slowly out of the venue while staring at the night sky is now viral and is referred to as the Walk of Silence before enlistment by the fan community. Moments like this are rare in the Korean entertainment industry. Usually, the announcement of conscription is made formally through an agency or a written broadcast. However, Jin and Eun-woo instead choose to explain everything directly, unscripted and censored. It is not simply a temporary separation, but a real representation of the emotional maturity and social responsibility they carry as public figures. The presence of two big names in one emotional broadcast also caused various speculations among the media and K-pop industry observers. Were there any secret projects between the two before their departure? Is this a signal that BTS and ESDRO are designing a collaboration specifically for fans? Although there was no confirmation, Jin said that he and Eun-woo had prepared a final gift before they were drafted into the military, a statement that further fueled enthusiasm and speculation. Looking at the response of fans who flooded the comments with words full of emotion, gratitude, and support, it seems that what Jin and Cha Eun-woo did that night will not only have an emotional impact, but will also be recorded as one of the most honest and monumental moments in K-pop history. Now the question is, after they disappear from the screen for an uncertain time, how will the industry respond to the void they leave behind? And more importantly, how will fans respond to the longing that no content or promotion can fill? One thing's for sure, the moment has carved an emotional history in the journey of two of the biggest K-pop stars of this generation. Jin and Cha Eun-woo don't just say goodbye. They show the world that courage is not only about performing on stage, but also about opening up to the public for the sake of honesty and a deeper connection. For those of you who want to continue to follow Jin and Cha Eun-woo's journey after enlistment, as well as emotional moments like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support will be a major force in spreading the real stories behind the camera. Tanya ChatGPT. However, in addressing the surge of emotion and touching narrative featured in Jin and Cha Eun-woo's live broadcast, there is one fundamental question that deserves to be asked seriously and critically. Is this moment truly authentic, or is it part of a deliberate media construct to generate global attention? In the midst of a very fast flow of information and tend to be sensational, the public increasingly difficult to distinguish between factual events and dramatic moments that are packaged for strategic purposes. In this context, the live broadcast of two big stars performed post-concert with an emotional atmosphere, minimalistic lighting, and meaningful body language is very likely to raise the question, is this pure outpouring of the heart, or is it part of the image management designed by the marketing team and the agency? The sources of information circulating about this broadcast come from various platforms. Pieces of video uploaded back on TikTok, short snippets from the fanbase's YouTube channel, screenshots on Twitter, and confusing narratives in various community forums. Until now, there has been no official statement that includes a full transcript of the broadcast or chronological documentation verified by independent media. Do we really believe in the all-encompassing truth that has been revealed? Furthermore, Jin's statements such as, "This may be the last time you see us like this," could be understood as emotional expressions. But in the highly strategic world of the entertainment industry, the phrase can also be part of a dramatic scenario aimed at triggering a mass reaction. In the world of modern media, every tear recorded, every pause in speech, can be a lever tool for directing public opinion. So, are we as an audience being too naive to accept all this without question? Similarly, Cha Eun-woo's statement about the fear of being forgotten after serving in the army. A very human confession, but an important question is worth asking. Why was the statement delivered in front of the camera and not in the form of personal reflection? Is it a form of courage to open vulnerability? Or is it a form of emotional exploitation in order to maintain relevance in the face of the vacuum of their public activities? People need to realize that in today's digital age, the line between reality and perception has become very blurred. When narratives like these go viral around the world, public opinion can easily be steered by algorithms, emotional commentary, and headlines designed in such a way as to attract clicks. Therefore, have we considered that it is possible that what we are witnessing is part of the construction of a larger image? Some people say that this event is a form of honest communication between idols and fans. There is little doubt about its authenticity. Is this purely a personal expression of two celebrities? Or is it part of a strategic plan to create the last momentum before both disappear from the public spotlight for 2 years? It is important to note that the Korean entertainment industry is known to be highly structured and strictly controlled by agencies. Every movement, every live broadcast, to every caption uploaded on social media often has to pass internal approval and planning. So, is there a possibility that Jin and Eun-woo's emotional broadcast was part of a communication campaign that their team had prepared in advance? From the point of view of media ethics, this also raises a new dilemma. When seemingly personal events are made into public consumption with emotional narratives, the line between empathy and manipulation becomes very thin. As consumers of information, we are required to be not only moved, but also alert. Are we witnessing reality, or are we part of an emotional marketing strategy that is deeper than it appears on the surface? Dear viewers and readers, we neither accuse nor deny the authenticity of such events. However, we invite you to do one very important thing in today's information ecosystem: critical reflection. Don't let yourself become a victim of unverified narratives. Don't be easily moved by an image without understanding the deep context behind it. Try asking yourself, was the whole moment delivered spontaneously, or has it gone through a certain process of script briefing or briefing? Did the narrative go through editing before it was released to the public? Does the absence of official documentation from the mainstream media reinforce doubts about the authenticity of the moment? And most importantly, what is the impact of fully trusting a moment like this? Without the filter of skepticism, in the midst of the torrent of emotional content that continues to fill our digital space, the ability to sort information, verify facts, and be critical is becoming a very important skill. Emotions are a human thing, but when emotions are used as a tool to shape opinion, then the public has a responsibility to be not just touched, it is also aware. We would like to emphasize that the information we present in this article is compiled from pieces of content spread across various public platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other community media. However, the veracity of this information has not been officially verified. Therefore, it is very important not to make this article the only source of absolute truth and conclusion. We invite you to participate in this discussion. Do you think this event really happened as it seemed? Or is there a hidden side that is deliberately arranged for certain interests? Share your thoughts, have a healthy discussion, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on other in-depth discussions about K-pop issues and the increasingly complex dynamics of the media. Only with an intelligent and critical public can we build a healthier and more accurate information ecosystem.